Welcome back. So it is a busy day on Saturday. We've got 12 games. We've got a lot of busy days over the next few weeks as we get ready to wrap up the season. So April 9th, remember, 20 days till the end of the season ending on April 29th. So we have games starting at 2 o'clock Eastern, which is 11 a.m. Pacific, going right up until there are 3 late games starting at 7 o'clock Pacific, which isn't that late. So tomorrow's review won't be as late as normal on a Saturday, which means the power rankings should be a little bit earlier for people on the East Coast or in Europe. Let's get started with the 2 p.m. Eastern start, which is 11 a.m. Pacific, between the New Jersey Devils and the Dallas Stars. January 25th, these teams met in New Jersey. Dallas wins that one 5-1. So Dallas will be looking to replicate that because they need to win a lot. The New Jersey Devils are 24-41-6. Last 10 games are 2-7-1. They've lost 3 in a row. Away from home, they're 8-24-2. They're 3 points behind Philadelphia. And with the loss to Montreal, they're now only 3 points clear of Montreal at the bottom of the East. So New Jersey's draft lottery chances are getting better, is what I'm saying. On the Dallas side, they're 40-26-4. Last 10 games, they're 7-2-1. Their last game was an overtime loss against the Toronto Maple Leafs. They were fortunate to get a point in that game. They're 22-9-2 at home. They're 2 points back in Nashville, who are the number 1 wild card. They're 2 points ahead of Vegas, who are, of course, below the playoff line. So this is a big key game. Every game's important for Dallas right now. Then moving forward now are to 3 o'clock Eastern, noon Pacific, the Washington Capitals and the Pittsburgh Penguins. So I'm wearing my Mario Lemieux, and I've got a 1992 Cup patch on it. And because I think Pittsburgh's due for a win. They've had a rough time the last week. I think they're due for one. November 14th, though, Washington wins 6-1 over them, thus the No Mercy Magnet. December 10th, Pittsburgh wins 4-2. And February 1st, it's a 4-3 overtime win for the Washington Capitals. So a win by Pittsburgh would even up the season series. For Washington, they're 38-22-10. Their last 2 games, they're 6-4. They did win their last game. They're 21-7-5 away from home, and they're 6 points back of Pittsburgh for third place. So if they're going to catch third place, or at least flirt with the idea of catching third place, they need this win tomorrow and in regulation. On the Pittsburgh side, they're 41-21-10. Their last 10 games, they're 4-5-1. They've lost 3 in a row. At home, they're 19-11-5. They're 6 points back of the Rangers and 6 points ahead of the Washington Capitals. Then we fast forward 3 hours. So it's possible I may do a video of these two. I may, and then that would leave me 10 games for the rest of the night. I'm thinking about it. February 22nd. 6-4 win for Nashville in Florida. Florida's going to be looking to even that up. Florida coming off of another come-from-behind win. Their third straight that I can recall, just off the top of my head, come-from-behind win. Can't keep playing like that, but they do, and they're 50-15-6. Their last 10 games, they're 9-1. They've won 6 in a row. So don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about. Away from home, they're 29-6. Put that on a t-shirt. They're 8 points ahead of Toronto. So they're pretty solidly in first place in the division. On the Nashville side, they're 41-25-4. Last 10 games, they're 6-4. They've won 2 in a row. At home, they're 22-11. So Nashville's pretty darn good at home. But again, this is Florida. They're 6 points back of Minnesota and St. Louis, who are, of course, tied for second in the division. They're 2 points ahead of Dallas, 4 points ahead of Vegas. So Nashville, every game is vastly important right now. Then we fast forward an hour to 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific, where we have 4 games getting started. So it's not like this crazy day of a bunch of games on at the same time. It's relatively reasonable. So Montreal's in against Toronto. Montreal's won 2 out of 3 so far against Toronto. October 13th, Toronto wins 2-1. Montreal then wins 5-2 on February 21st. And on March 26th, Montreal wins 4-2. So for Toronto, who've had a very good week, the Power Rankings board would state that this is a big game tomorrow. So for Montreal, 20-40-11 is their overall record, but in their last 10, they're 4-4-2. They're coming off of a win against the New Jersey Devils. Away from home, they're 10-20-7. They are 6 points back of Philly and 3 points back in New Jersey. So they'll probably finish at the bottom of the East, but maybe they won't. Toronto's 46-19-6. Over their last 10 games, they're 7-2-1. They won their last game, and at home, they're 25-7-2. They're 3 points ahead of Boston and 4 points ahead of the Tampa Bay Lightning. So trying to maintain that second spot, and a win tomorrow night would go a long way to making that happen, because both Boston and Tampa are off tomorrow, so they can put themselves 5 points clear of Boston and 6 clear of Tampa. Also at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, the Columbus Blue Jackets in against Detroit. They've split their first 2 meetings. October 19th, Detroit wins 4-1. November 15th, Columbus wins 5-3. Columbus is 33-33-6 overall. Last 10 games, they're 2-5-3. They did lose their last game in regulation. Away from home, they're 15-18-2. They're 3 points back of the New York Islanders. They're 7 points ahead of the Detroit Red Wings. On the Detroit side, they're 28-34-9 overall. Last 10 games, they're 3-5-2. They've won 2 in a row. They're 18-13-6 at home. They're 7 points back of Columbus, 2 points ahead of Buffalo, and with wins over Boston and Winnipeg, we'll see what they have in store against the Columbus Blue Jackets. It feels like Detroit's going on a bit of a run at the end of the year, which is fine, right? 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, the Ottawa Senators and the New York Rangers. The New York Rangers can punch their ticket into the playoffs with a victory, or if the Islanders lose in regulation tomorrow night. So for the Rangers, they've won both meetings with Ottawa. They won on October 23rd, 3-2, and they won on February 20th, 2-1. Both games were close. Both games won by the Rangers. Ottawa 26-38-4 overall. Last 10 games, they're 5-4-1. They lost their last game. Away from home, they're 13-18-3. They're 5 points back of Buffalo. They're 1 point ahead of the Philadelphia Flyers. For the New York Rangers, they're 46-20-6 overall. Last 10 games, they're 7-2-1. They've won their last 2. At home, they're 23-7-4. They're 2 points back of Carolina. So with a win against Ottawa, they can tie Carolina for first, and they're 6 points clear of Pittsburgh. So a win tomorrow paired with a loss by Pittsburgh, and suddenly have a two-way race for first, and Pittsburgh would be pretty much out of the running for second place. Also at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, the Calgary Flames in against Seattle. It's an early start for Seattle fans. Calgary's won the first 2 meetings this year. December 30th was a 6-4 win. February 19th was a 2-1 win. The 4th meeting will be April 12th. So, how can Calgary get this done? Well, they're 43-19-9. Their last 10 games are 6-3-1. They've won 3 in a row. It's been a very successful road trip for them so far, and it's just a matter of staying focused and realizing that even though Seattle has a poor record, they've been good lately. Away from home, they are 22-11-2. They're 6 points ahead of Edmonton and 9 points ahead of LA, as LA continues to fall back. They were in contention for a spot with Calgary. It feels like it was like a week ago. They were 3 points back. Now it's 9. Seattle, 23-42-6 overall. Last 10 games, though, they're 5-5. They did win their last game. At home, they're 12-20-3, and they're 3 points clear of Arizona. Over their last 10, Seattle fans have had stuff to cheer for. Then at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, we got Anaheim in against Philadelphia. January 4th, Anaheim wins this matchup 4-1. Now they go to Philly, and they'll try to replicate that. The Ducks are 28-32-10 over their last 10. It's a rough record, 1-7-2, and they've lost their last 2 in regulation. Away from home, they're 12-15-7. They're 1 point clear of the San Jose Sharks. On the Philadelphia side, they're 23-37-11. Their last 10 games, they're 4-6. They won their last game, so we'll see how this goes tomorrow. At home, they're 13-17-6. They're 1 point back of Ottawa. They're 3 points ahead of New Jersey. From a power rankings perspective, these two teams are right next to each other. Whichever one wins this game ends up ahead of the other one. That's where that's going to happen. 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific, the New York Islanders looking to build on their win over the Carolina Hurricanes and against St. Louis. March 5th, the Islanders did win at home against St. Louis 2-1. We'll see how things go in St. Louis. For the Islanders, they're 33-28-9 over their last 10. They're 7-3. They won their last game tonight. Away from home, they're 15-15-5, so they've evened up their road record. They're 3 points clear of Columbus. They are the top team below the playoff line in the East. St. Louis, on the other hand, 41-20-10 over their last 10 games. They're 7-2-1. They've won 4 in a row, including an overtime victory tonight against Minnesota. At home, they're 24-9-4. They're tied with Minnesota now for second place in the division. Minnesota has 1 game in hand, so St. Louis really does need to win this one against the Islanders, and they're 6 points ahead of the Nashville Predators. So they're trying to stretch their lead over Nashville and jump ahead of Minnesota as well. Then we fast forward to the 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 Pacific start times, beginning with the Colorado Avalanche and the Edmonton Oilers. On March 21st, it was a 3-2 overtime victory for Colorado. The third and final meeting will be April 22nd. So this one's in Edmonton, and for Colorado, looking to build off of a win against Winnipeg. They're now 51-14-6. Their last 10 games are 8-1-1. They've won 5 in a row. Colorado's playing really well again. Away from home, they're 23-10-3. They're 16 points clear of Minnesota. I'm going to go out on a limb and say they win their division. Edmonton, 42-25-5. Last 10 games are 7-2-1. They've won 6 in a row. Their longest winning streak in about 7 years. So they're really on a roll right now. At home, they're 23-12. And they're 6 points back of Calgary. They're 3 points ahead of LA. And for the record, they're 7 points clear of Vegas. So really, they're in a pretty good spot to end up finishing second. And this push definitely solidifies their spot in the playoffs. They're 7 points clear of that playoff line. 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific start time between San Jose and Vancouver. Vancouver's won both meetings. San Jose will be looking to avoid the sweep. Vancouver will be looking to keep their playoff hopes alive. December 16th, Vancouver wins 5-2. February 17th, Vancouver wins 5-4 in overtime. San Jose's 29, 32, and 9 overall. Last 10 games, they're 3-6-1. They lost their last game in regulation. Away from home, they're 13, 16, and 4. They're 1 point back at Anaheim, 8 points ahead of Chicago. Vancouver, on the other hand, are 34, 28, and 10. Their last 10 games are 4, 3, and 3. They won their last 2. Again, they go out on the road. They get our hopes up. Now they're coming home. They're against a lower-rated team. You have to have some concerns as a Canuck fan about a bit of a letdown here. They're 14, 14, and 6 at home, so they're also better on the road than they are at home. 6 points back of Dallas and 4 points back of the Vegas Golden Knights. Again, we might be having a different discussion if Travis Green had been let go a little bit earlier in the year than he was, but hindsight's 2020. So Vancouver looking to keep their hopes alive. In order for that to happen, Arizona needs to do the unlikely and beat Vegas in Vegas. That's December 3rd, Vegas wins 7-1 against Anaheim, so that's the no mercy magnet for this one. And February 25th, Arizona did beat Vegas 3-1, so Arizona's shown they can beat Vegas. Can they do it again? Vegas is getting Pacioretty back for this game, so if Pacioretty's back, that should help their scoring. That would be a problem for Arizona, who are 22, 44, and 5. Overall, their last 10 games are 2-7-1. They lost their last 2 in regulation, including last night against Vancouver. They're 12, 20, and 4 away from home. They're 3 points behind Seattle, dead last in the West. Vegas is 39, 29, and 4. Their last 10 games are 7-3. They lost their last game against Vancouver as well. At home, they're 20, 14, and 3. They're 2 points back of Dallas, and they're 4 points ahead of Vancouver. And Dallas, with the 2 games in hand, they got to keep winning. So getting Pacioretty back should help. Getting healthier would definitely help Vegas. We'll see whether or not that's able to get them over the hump and get them into the playoffs. Let me know your thoughts, including your picks, in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. It means a ton. Having you guys out there watching this every day makes it worth doing this every day. Thanks again. I'll talk to you guys soon.